Spider crawling on the floor, lonely spider longing for love once more.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, guys.
Hi. I hope everybody can hear us. It looks like our mic is good. I'm checking everything. Julie's going to check us on Facebook right now and share it with our Book of Hours page, because the streaming service we're using right now, Restream, is kind of awesome. It's a new thing for us, but it also limitations, and that limitation is that we can only stream to a page. And today we're streaming to my particular page, which is the topic of most interest in today's broadcast. But before we get into that, and while Julie is doing this, this share, wanted to talk about the fact that, you know, this is also a live stream fundraiser. This is our late spring fundraiser. Today is May 1st. We'll get into that in a little bit. But what we're looking for is $500 in new donations, or in donations, not new, just donations. And you can do that by going to, and let me see if I can find these. Let's see. There we go. You can go to paypal.me, or paypal.me/Book of Hours, and make a one-time donation of any amount that you'd like. If you make a donation of $7 or more, then you can see the latest video that we've produced, Globotics, as well as some other things that are available to people who donate. Again, $7 or more to paypal.me/Book of Hours. We're looking for $500 in donations in today's broadcast, podcast, live cast, whatever you want to call it. We're also looking for 10 new patrons on Patreon, and you can find that at patreon.com/Book of Hours. And you go there, you sign up and become a patron of Book of Hours.
Okay? Right. What I'm doing right now is I'm sharing it. I'm trying to figure out, first of all, I had to make it public. Mm-hmm. Second of all, I can't seem to tag anybody for them to share it.
Oh, well, that's annoying.
It's not letting me tag anyone. So I might tag people.
Right
Sorry.
Well,
Feedback.
At least we know it's working.
Yeah, I might tag people in the comments.
Okay. Well, the other thing that I want to say is we were looking for, we have a new service now that we're on, a new platform called Rockfin, and that's at rockfin.com. We're looking for 10 subscribers to that. You can join for free and see all free content throughout Rockfin, all the content that's available to you. And there's a lot of heavy hitters on Rockfin. We're the only artists. But today, if you subscribe, I mean, if you join, you can see all that content, but then you can subscribe for $9.99 a month. You go to rockfin.com/Book of Hours, and we get part of that funding. You can also leave tips at the free content that we have available. So you can leave a $2 tip if you see something and you like it. So that's kind of an awesome thing. So go to rockfin.com and become a free subscriber, free member. Look for Book of Hours, and you can watch our stuff there, and you can offer tips there. So we're looking for 10 new subscribers to Rockfin as well.
I don't know if the people that I tagged in the okay, yeah, it looks like they were tagged. Okay, yeah. All right, this is a brand new service, and there's certain limitations to it.
Yeah.
So we are, we're still learning.
What we're finding is there's limitations to all of them. We were using StreamYard a while ago, but we can only do one channel on that.
Right.
So, that's a little limiting. I'm sounding like W. Bush. Limiting. They don't allow graphics, but they allow video. This one allows graphics, but not video or something. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, in fact, I don't know if it allows graphics even. So we're going to have to check into that.
Okay, well,
I just set this up today. So
yeah, we're just having some technical difficulties here. If you could please share this if you're tagged and you're a patron, or a supporter of our channel and our work, if you could please share this around. The point of this live stream right now is to get as many people to go over to our Book of Hours YouTube page, as well as our Book of Hours Facebook page, and our Book of Hours Rockfin page.
Yeah.
And have them take a look at the work that we do and the video essays that we create, and hopefully they will want to become a patron and support the arts.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That's the whole point of this little exercise today. We did want to say, we want to start out by saying that we were under some serious attack this week.
We were.
I'm, dealing with some tissue damage in my lungs, and JP's entire Facebook page was taken down yesterday, the day before we were supposed to go live on May Day in solidarity to the global working class, which was an absolute outrageous attack on us as creatives, and also on, in general, the working class. We were absolutely outraged. We could not believe that his Facebook page, of where he's collected, around 3,000 connections over the last year, was just taken down like that. He did not have a strike. He has never been banned off of Facebook. This was just an absolute affront to everything that we stand for, with, being working artists, and also leading with, this idea of free speech. So we were able to get it back because we pushed back against the decision for Facebook to take down the page, and we were able to get it back. So lucky us that we're here and we were able to stream on this page. So we're very happy about that. A couple of people emailed me personally and they said, what happened? How did you get it back? And, so you have to
magic.
We're sorcerers. No, you have to just be really specific about, about what it is that you're saying. Facebook isn't really interested in feelings or even the First Amendment. They want to see, something that's as close to factual or even anecdotal evidence to prove a timeline. And we were able to do that. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But luckily we're back and we're able to stream on this page. If you could please share it with your friends. Don't be afraid to share this live stream with your friends. We don't bite. We're just asking people to come take a look at what we've created. We've created some really amazing video essays and commentary over the last year since the national emergency was declared on March 13th of 2020. We decided to start with Quarantini and move on from there. And Quarantini is the name of a popular video essay that we did, where we took good footage from San Francisco and Pittsburgh, and we were able to weave it into a narrative that went outside of, oh my God, virus. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're really proud of that one. And
that one,
yeah.
That one had some footage that really broke my heart. I mean, it took a while of watching it a few times to get over what I was seeing. It includes footage from San Francisco, areas that we knew well, that we'd been in many times, and or through very many times. Living there for so long, it was just part of your life, and seeing it the way it was very, very hard to watch. I don't know what the situation is these days. We keep in tabs with a few friends. And we, one of them is Mike Kachapoli, and he puts in reports now and then on Facebook. But yeah, it's pretty appalling what's going on. And it was very sad to see. And even, even though we were new to Pittsburgh, we could also tell that some things were just not right. And, seeing we took a lot of footage of what seemingly was the abandoned sports arenas that are in town. There's the football stadium, and for the Steelers, and the baseball stadium for the Pirates. And we took some footage of the Pirates stadium, and it was so ghostly and strange to see all that.
This was a foreshadowing of things to come.
Yeah.
What we're looking at now is definitely the bifurcation and the splitting up of society. Where we look at it in terms of class war, where the haves and versus the have-nots. You and I both know that all of the actresses and actors and politicians and wealthy people out there that have been getting recorded getting the COVID shot, you do know that those are not real shots that they're getting. That's just them acting for the camera. And that, when they're allowed into museums and ball games and fancy restaurants, and they'll say, well, all you have to do is go get your shot and you can have this too. When really what it is they never got the shot. They were always going to be allowed into those places. They were always going to be allowed to have access to their life because they're of that class. That's why this is class war. And so those of you who are actually getting the shot, you're being told things like, oh, but you still have to wear a mask. Oh, but you still have to sit over here in a different section. Oh, but you still can't do this. You still can't do that. So
I know. I wish we could show that. You showed me a graphic today, and I wish I had it available. It was a piece of propaganda from Baltimore.
Right.
And
Jonathan Clayton originally shared it.
And it was it was a poster that they put out, the health department in Baltimore put out. And it was basically, be careful of the keyboard.
Sorry. Okay. I'm just trying to get back onto YouTube and see how we're doing over there.
Yeah. Okay.
With our YouTube fans.
Anyway, and it had a picture of a woman kind of like going like this in the foreground and the guy in the background. And it said something like, mimosas with the gals. You haven't been vaccinated yet, Donna, or whatever her name was. And so Karen, the implication was that, she couldn't, she wasn't allowed to go out and have fun with everybody else because she hadn't been vaccinated.
Right.
And so, and I'm seeing, that's the other thing. I'm seeing all this rhetoric and this propaganda out there, especially on Facebook and other places, where, I was checking out some friends that are not of the resistance and
putting it mildly,
to put it mildly. And, you'll see them with their little, circle frames around their photo that says, I got my vaccine. And like today I was looking, doing some searching and I found I was on Chrome. So it went to Google automatically. And the Google Doodle is an animation of the letters of Google, all with Band-Aids on their, seemingly their arms, and they would be like, pop, 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 I've got my vaccine.
What?
It's fucked up.
What?
Yeah, I'll show it to you later. So there's all this weird, and then there was this DJ who we listened to on a streaming service. He's live on Fridays, and I overheard him congratulating somebody for their upcoming appointment to get their second shot.
Yeah, we like his music, but man,
his politics suck.
And more than that now, I mean, it's basically human rights violations, right, guys? I mean, that's what it is. It's medical experiments. None of this is FDA approved. I mean, and mainstream is even coming out and saying that. I mean, that's language that's coming out of of course it's not obvious. They slip it in here and there because they can't not tell the truth. They have to slip in like little language here and there. And if you know propaganda, it's that way they can cover their ass so that if anyone ever does say anything, oh well, we said it right here.
Right.
We said that they weren't FDA approved right here. I mean, it says it all over the literature.
Didn't you read it?
It's your choice.
Yeah,
we have different viewpoints. I'm to the point where it's like, hey, look, if people want to go ahead and have medical experiments done on them and they're fully aware, it says it right on the literature. You can read, you're an adult. You can read it and say, and where it says not FDA approved. And also it's been very clear from the very beginning that if anything were to happen, any side effects, that the vaccine companies would not be held accountable. Everybody knows this all across the board, whether you're lining up to get, 12 vaccines or whether you're just completely an anti-vaxxer or somewhere in the middle. You all know that this is the way it is. Even mainstream media is telling you this. So at that point, it's up to you. It's your choice. And if those are your choices, good for you. I mean, and please respect mine. And that's really all I have to say, except maybe stay away from us because of the whole spike protein thing.
The transmission of spike proteins.
Right. Which has also been covered by mainstream media, and Fauci himself has even announced it. I downloaded a video, which I didn't share yet because of all the shit that went down with your page and all the drama that ensued as a result of that.
Yeah.
And all the energy had to go towards getting you back up, which was a success.
Before we go on to other subjects, because I would like to actually talk about that subject. We didn't write it down, but I think I would like to talk about the spike proteins, if you don't mind.
Okay. Well, hopefully it doesn't get us slammed.
we call it piked spoteins.
We could call it spores.
Spores.
We could call it piked. Yeah.
Piked
proteins.
Piked sproteins.
I don't know. You guys know what we're talking about. So
the SPs.
Yeah. So
the SPs. Okay. So before we go into that,
that's one of the reasons that he got taken down was because he shared a blog post with somebody who is on the complete opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to the dangers of the COVID shots.
Right. Okay. Well, let's watch this. I put this together after I lost my page. Yeah.
It's not COVID. It's
it's something else. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. It's an attack on my lung tissue.
Yeah. All right.
Which is different.
Oh, I have to play it.
I don't think they can hear it.
Facebook has begun purging users. The reason? The very vague and indisputable excuse, you have violated community standards. But what does that mean? Is it hate speech? Speaking out against the government? Is it stuff we're not supposed to talk about? What is that? And why does Facebook get to decide? Despite their corporate status, the fact that they're a business providing a free service, they have become the commons, and they use people on their platform for financial gain. So it's not really free, is it? So why do they get to decide what can be said and what cannot? After 14 years of willing participation in Facebook's money-making service with no community strikes, in those 14 years, my account was disabled.
They have disabled my account, completely. If you go to my page, there's no face, there's no graphic, there's no nothing. So basically, 14 years of posting, telling the infrastructure, telling Facebook where I am, what I'm doing, where I'm spending my money, what I'm up to, my thoughts, my feelings, my photos, all my images that they claim to own, right? Because that's what they say, that they own your image. All those things are down the memory hole. Down. They're gone. They're wiped out.
2 days before my account was disabled, I received a 24-hour block in which I could not comment on nor post content. This was the only time I had ever been reprimanded by Facebook. There was no warning and no reason given other than the violation of community standards, which means nothing.
They made lots and lots of money from me participating in this. I have taught numerous machine learning data sets, tons of algorithmic information that will then be used in the future to build artificial intelligence to do, any number of things.
They gave me the opportunity to dispute the situation, but with no result. In the series of screens that are part of the dispute claim that you go through, they ask for your mobile phone number and an image of yourself. But after providing the information requested in the series of screens presented, the last screen states they can't review the dispute.
And so they've captured your image, they've captured your phone number. Now, granted, they have all that, right? They have all that information, but now they have it in a new context, right? And what is going on here is, you're now accused of doing something that you don't even know what it is. It's kangaroo court, right? You don't know if you're now on a no-fly list. You don't know if you're on a dissident list. You don't know because the fucking Facebook is a CIA, right?
Facebook claims that because of COVID-19, they don't have enough staff to review these disputes. That is a lie. Facebook doesn't need staff to review the disputes, and that's because Facebook has deployed artificial intelligence throughout their systems, and AI systems can easily handle the kinds of information that their systems ask for in order to prove your identity in the dispute.
They won't tell you why you've been kicked out. They just say that you breached community standards, which, who knows what the fuck that means, right? You can click and link, you can go read them, but they don't apply to what anything, because they don't tell you what you actually did. So now you're guilty by association. You're guilty of violating their community standards, which really violate, First Amendment rights.
This is more than censorship. This is singling out and identifying dissidents and people considered not worthy of participating in the public sphere, the commons, or everyday life. These are people who ask questions and say things that shouldn't be talked about.
You're now guilty of by association. You're guilty of doing something that you're not sure what you did. And you're guilty of, God knows what. And they're basically condemning you to the memory hole.
Facebook is very deceptive in how they treat people who use their service. They lie and withhold information to manipulate people in order to gain information about them, information which can be exploited for money or information to give to the state.
I've basically been dismissed as a bad employee, okay? And that's basically it. And I have no way of, countering that or getting around that. So, and that's the way they want it. They want to shut us up.
The rules of the community are not like ordinary social rules or laws based on human rights. They're based on the unwritten rules of behaving within a corporate setting. Of course, there are, the human resource rules in a corporate setting, and then there are the social rules that are not written that can get an employee into trouble, whether they did something wrong or not. That's because other people can say things about you that can get you fired or reprimanded or put on leave.
People they don't want on their platform. We're now bad employees and we're basically being fired. And that's all there is to it.
All right.
Okay, so I would like to apologize if there's been some excessive tagging. It's not us. I tagged each of you once. So if you received excessive tags on this live stream, that was probably the system that kept retagging you.
Yeah.
I only put in a person's name one time. So, sorry about that.
Yeah. Again, new service.
New technology,
New technology.
new streaming service.
Yeah, and I didn't.
Brand new.
I didn't like how the two the
I
two
don't
screens
mind.
were.
I mean,
But
I kind of like it.
It's all right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
People don't
It's like
care.
they can see our reaction. Oh my God! I didn't see that one coming. Oh wait, I made it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
So yeah. So what did you want to talk about?
So we were talking about the SPs
right
in relationship to the in relation to your
Right. So
Um,
it's a tissue problem I'm having with my lungs. Doesn't have anything to do with the virus. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's I wrote a blog post about it. He shared the blog post with somebody who counteracted, my own body, which is weird that a complete stranger would tell me that I'm wrong about,
they know better.
my own body. And we believe that that's what led to
It's one of the reasons, anyway.
taking down. Yeah, one of the reasons. So, it's just a matter of, coming, just going, and emailing the right people at Facebook and just saying, I think that this was a mistake and here's why. But anyway, regarding the SPs, Fauci came out and made a statement publicly that said, that the vaccines could actually cause the very thing that they were trying to kill or whatever. And a lot of people who do get the COVID shots are told, oh, well, if you're feeling bad, that's just your body. That's just your body's immune system kicking in, and it's okay. It's perfectly normal. So, that's
the lies upon lies upon lies upon lies that just people believe.
Let's be San Francisco about it and go, well, define lie. Define what you mean by lie.
Are you sure you mean lies, JP? I mean, don't you mean like
let's be liberal?
Truths?
Let's be liberal about it. Well, you have to define abuse. You have to define medical experimentation and torture. Define it. So that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with these corporate assholes that just don't put any kind of human outlook, or they don't interpret anything through the human lens. It's all done through like a corporate, does this match, the balance sheet by the end of the week? And am I going to make my quarterly earnings? Am I going to get my bonuses? That's all they care about.
Yeah.
Everybody from Salesforce to Pfizer to, this is all just one big corporate scheme. And we're all just kind of,
we're just floating around
we're
like
just floating
little
around
SPs.
The thing that they trade on,
Right. I
they're
know.
using us as the chips to trade with.
Yes,
we're the money,
right?
The
money,
your money,
the money. But speaking of all that,
Sorry.
I thought it was
Sorry. Inside joke.
somebody else's riff. I was interested to see UK column yesterday's program, where Mike was like, he was down with it. I mean, he was finally like coming to a place that I was like, he's like,
finally.
It seems like they are the medical industry is basically using people and the illnesses of people to make money from. I was like,
Okay.
And it was he was not quite where we are, but I mean, like what we've been saying, where they're actually financializing us. Okay, so Julie told me this morning that 6 new hospitals are going to be built in the Pittsburgh area.
Okay, that was a rumor I heard from somebody who likes to talk about stuff about Pittsburgh. But I went and looked into it, and back like in 2018, there was like $2 million set aside for 6 new hospitals.
Is that all? $2 million?
I know it. It didn't seem like a lot of money.
That pays for like a room.
But see, here's the deal. Here's the deal. That was 2017 or 2018. So I think when they say hospitals, what they probably meant were like all the shit we're seeing now, where they're turning, your local Applebee's into a place where you can get a PCR test or get your COVID shot. That's where the $2 million is going.
Or the tents, the
tents
the
outside,
outdoor,
the restaurant.
tests. Yeah. I'm surprised they're not doing the inoculation shots in the parking lots like they did the
PCR test.
Yeah.
Well, they're not done yet, so you may see that soon enough.
Yeah, because the propaganda is getting thick, hot and heavy.
Why don't you put on a link where people can become a patron? And
oh, okay. So all right. So yeah, we're
just jabbering.
We're jabbering, but let's get back to that. So today we're doing our fundraising. I was waiting for a point to do that, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, a comfortable point because we were just talking about something, and then Okay. 500 new donations, and you can go to, let's see, where is you can go to paypal.me/book of hours. We're looking for $500 in donations today. So if you can make any donation whatsoever, that would be awesome. You can go to paypal.me/book of hours. If you make a donation of $7 or more, you can see our latest video called Globotics, and we're going to play the teaser for that in a minute. Yeah, so then we'll send you the link so that you can see Globotics. You can also go to patreon.com/book of hours and become a patron for as little as $2 a month. Okay, and then you get to see all the stuff that we create new that is exclusive to our supporters and our patrons, and you see it first. I mean, you see it right away. It comes up on Patreon and you get a notification when it goes up.
Yeah, there's stuff on Patreon right now that no one's seen because we haven't made our goal yet. We should have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we should have, at least 500 patrons.
Right.
We have 50 patrons and 2,600 subscribers on YouTube. So we're not going to make our good stuff that we spend a lot of hours and weeks researching and making. We're not going to make it public until we reach our goal.
That little video, that clip that I just showed you, the Facebook one, that took
all day.
That took probably a 10-hour day to put that together.
So what happened was when he came home and discovered that his Facebook page had been taken down, I said, you better channel that, frustration and that anger into something really creative and make a statement. And stand by your statement and use all of your mad graphic skills and all that stuff and turn it into something. Let's make it a video sketchbook. Video sketchbooks are usually under 10 minutes. We have video blurbs, which populate right onto our Twitter page and right onto our Facebook page. You don't need even a YouTube link for it. They just embed right into the page. They're usually 2 minutes. That's a video blurb. A video sketchbook is usually 10 minutes or under. So he made a video sketchbook and channeled his frustration and channeled his anger into something really creative that's getting good feedback. We just released it today. And you just saw it. We just played it. So
you can go back to YouTube or to our Facebook page and see it again if you'd like to.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, something like that took like around 10 hours of work. Okay. So there's our essays that are longer format take weeks.
Right.
They take weeks to put together. And so that's why, for the most part, we have been only allowing our patrons and our supporters to see them. Eventually we will once we reach our goal, then we will release them. So today what we're looking for are 10 new patrons on Patreon. The other thing that we're looking for are 10 new subscribers on Rockfin, the new channel, the new platform that we are now on. You can join Rockfin for free and see all kinds of free content, including our own. But if you want to see our premium content, like you would on Patreon, you have now a choice. You can join Rockfin for $9.99 a month, and you can see all the other people who produce content on Rockfin. You can see all their premium content as well. So we get funded. You get a ton of premium content that's not available to other people on the Rockfin network. So you can go to rockfin.com/book of hours. You'll go to rockfin.com first, and they will ask you to become a member. Then you can look at our stuff, and you can then subscribe. You can also leave tips on our page. So if you're looking at our videos on Rockfin, they have a tip jar, and we have it set for $2. So you can easily just drop $2 in the tip jar. And, have at it. So that would be awesome as well.
Right. So we have, so many different ways that you can support us. At the very least, you could support us on Patreon for $2 a month. So that's $24 a year. That's all we're expecting. And that's all, we would expect of anybody now.
And people have stepped up and given us more. We have different levels that you can.
So you can sign up for $2, $5, $10 a month. But some people are like, well, I don't want to make the monthly commitment. Well, then that's what the tip jar at Rockfin is for. You can drop $2 in the tip jar, or you can make a one-time donation on PayPal for whatever amount works for you. We ask for a minimum of a $7 donation on PayPal because they do take, they do take the fees out. And so usually we get like a $10 donation, and that turns out to be about $8 for us.
Yeah.
So, it works out. But,
Right.
and then that way we will, and then once you do make your donation through PayPal, what we do is we email you everything that's private, that's not available to the public. Everything that's private gets emailed to your personal email account. And then we encourage you to share those, private video links that we're sending you. We encourage you to share them with your close family and friends. Like if you're having an event, if you're having like a birthday party or people coming over, say, hey, take a look at this video. Look at these creatives over here that are telling something different.
Right. Do a watch party. We'd ask you not to share the links, however, because
don't share them on your social media pages, just with like your closest friends,
or just do like show them the video.
Right.
Yeah, there's no way for us to really protect that beyond the like we can't hide it behind a paywall. So we ask you to help us.
We will just trust you.
Trust you. Yeah.
It's funny because I know that we have like 50 patrons, and we have a specific link. And if it's opened 50 times, then I'm like, okay, that means the patrons opened it. But if it's opened like 100 times, I'm like, okay, they're sharing it around.
Yeah,
whatever.
Something's going on. But we haven't seen that. And that's fine, because they are, that's why we trust people.
Right.
But what we're looking for is 10 new patrons. So that would bring us up to 60 patrons all in all. So
yeah, just 10 new patrons.
Great. Yeah. So
$2 a month, 10 new patrons, and we'll be happy campers. He's losing his job as of June 1st. So right now he has a part-time job, and it's going away. Like it's not that he's quitting or anything. The office is closing. Mm-hmm. So the office is shuttering, is closing because of COVID. Mm-hmm. And so there will be no money coming in. So this is how we will sustain our living. This is how we will earn an income and live our life, is mm-hmm. through our creative work that we're doing. Why don't we show a teaser mm-hmm. for 13 Amended, so we can talk about the film festival?
Oh, well, I don't have it set up, but
don't? Okay.
But I can do that. Okay. Hang on a second. Give me a moment. Keep talking.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's all right.
Should have brought it up in our meeting earlier.
No, I didn't think of that, but
so we are we still visible on
I think
screen?
So, yeah.
Okay. So we are submitting one of our private links to for a film festival. So this is a video essay that we did a couple months ago that is not available to the public, and we will be submitting it to a film festival. That's one of the rules, is that it can't be made available to the public. So we wanted to show you a teaser for it, so that if you are interested in seeing the whole thing, it's 50 minutes, as in 50. If you're interested in seeing the whole thing, then you can become a patron and see it today. And that part is okay. Like, as long as it's not in the public sphere, which it's not, then you can, I would just copy the link, like right there. Isn't that how you do it?
Yeah, I guess so.
And then sorry. So then you can see it, and then you'll know what we'll be submitting to the film festival. So we're pretty excited about that. That's something totally different. And one of the reasons that we're live today is so that we can talk about who we are and what we are. And, we're not broadcasters. We're not researchers. We're not really interviewers, although we have interviewed people in the past, and we have had people come onto our platform, like our good friend Brandy Ann, who lives in Florida, mm-hmm. our good friend Kilgore, who lives in Georgia, our good friend Kevin, who lives in New Jersey. They all are doing various activist things, on the ground.
And don't forget the audio that we did.
And the audio we did with our good friend Lynn in North Carolina. So, these 4 people that I just mentioned, they're doing on the ground work. They're doing, we're doing sort of behind the scenes work. We're basically making art. We're basically making like really cool video essays and propaganda, and we're doing everything with using our skills.
Right.
We're not necessarily activists. We're not necessarily researchers or broadcasters. We make movies.
But
and sometimes people say that they're more like, music videos.
Right.
That's
Somebody
the
said
kind
that
of stuff
today.
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but let's backtrack for a second before we show this clip. We are actually going to, we've interviewed these people.
Well,
and
I was kind of getting there.
Okay, are you going to get there?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a new feature that we're going to start releasing, and it's called Pull Quote.
Pull Quote.
And we'll be interviewing people periodically, and we'll stream it like now. This week on May 6th, we have Rosemary Fry coming up. Frey.
So Rosemary Fry is, she's committed to it. She says she's having some technical issues. So we'll see. We'll
see how it goes.
We'll hope so. That would be a really amazing
but we have that
with her.
scheduled at this point, and we'll release that probably early this week. Let you guys know that's coming up. And we'll stream that to the platform that you're watching right now, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or whatever. That's a new feature that we're going to start doing in addition to Bookmark, which is what this feature is. This is our bi-weekly talk show, as we call it. This is a very special edition of Bookmark, in which we're asking you to help us continue the work that we're doing. We're looking for $500 in new donations. You can go to paypal.me/Book of Hours and make a one-time donation. See if we can make that $500 goal. You can also become a patron by going to patreon.com/Book of Hours and join for as little as $2 a month, and you can see all our premium content. But in addition to that, if you don't want to do Patreon, because we've heard from people out there that say they want to support us, but they don't want to use Patreon, you can now go to rockfin.com and you can become a member. Go to rockfin.com/Book of Hours, subscribe for $9.99 a month. You can get our premium content as well as all the other content creators who have premium content out there. You can also leave a $2 tip on Rockfin. Okay, so we were talking about
the film festival.
Oh yeah, the film festival. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we're going to be submitting this 50-minute video essay that we did that's not available to the public. We're going to be submitting that to the film festival, and we would love it if you could see it as well.
Right.
Again, be a patron or sign up for Rockfin, and you can see it now. It's 50 minutes. That's 50. And what it is a commentary that goes into detail about what kind of capitalism we're turning into. It's more like a slave system that we're in now, and not necessarily like a free market system now. So we're transitioning, we as a whole, like the global population is transitioning into like we're all sort of becoming slaves. Eventually, like the kids who are in school now will be slaves to the AI. And we are all being trained. I mean, that's why we have things like lockdown and, you have to put a muzzle on your face, because we're all being treated like slaves, and we're being tenderized and prepared to be slaves of the future, and actually slaves of the present. It's happening right now. So this 50-minute video essay is crucial. It's crucial viewing for people out there to have a better understanding of what's going on. And we would love to be able to just make it public for everyone, but we can only give it to people who either make a donation or sign up to be a patron or sign up for our Rockfin page. So let's play the teaser.
Okay. And
it's pretty hot.
It's pretty hot. Now, we released this in 3 parts because it is long. So you can see all 3 parts. What we're submitting to the film festival is a full cut of the entire thing, which we haven't released to anybody. And part of the rules of the film festival is, it cannot have been seen by the public. Right. Now, we just haven't released it to our patrons.
Oh, we got
as a full donation.
Ding 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 ding.
Yeah,
ding, ding.
we got a new patron. Awesome.
Lynn, thank you,
Thank you, Lynn.
so
Oh,
much.
The very person we were just talking about a moment ago.
We were just talking about you. So
Yeah.
please follow Common Core Diva. We are on her email list. And even though we may not have the time or the energy to respond to your wonderful emails, we do read them, we do get them, and we are inspired by them.
Yeah.
Please know that. And we loved talking to you.
Yeah. In fact,
What a sweet lady.
we want to do it again sometime in the future so that we can actually see you next time, because that particular one, if any of you have not seen it yet or listened to it rather, it's an audio only, and with the technology we were using, we were pre-recording it.
Yeah, we weren't pleased with it. It didn't meet our standards.
Yeah, so
we'll do better technology next time.
Yeah.
But let's watch the teaser.
So this is the teaser for part 2 of the video called 13 Amended, and I will bring that up in just a moment here. Let's see, where is it? Oh, that's the wrong thing. Let's see.
You just had it.
I know. It's not showing me that particular one. Let me see here.
Maybe you have to find it from the.
Oh crap.
Do you have to pull it? Yeah, just pull it down from the file, right? Sorry, guys. New streaming service, new way of doing things.
Well, okay.
So if you're going to pull it from a file, then go to the new model series and go to 13 Amended and then choose teaser 2.
These are that's weird. Okay, so wait.
Or
I'm pushing the wrong button. Okay, so
or if you're going to do the link, then just copy the link from YouTube.
Stop sharing screen. Oh, I'm sharing the screen. Okay, there. Share the screen. Ah, okay. Sorry. New technology, and I just wasn't getting
There it is. YouTube teaser. Do we want teaser 3 or teaser 2?
Well, it's set for 3, but
Part 3.
I'm going to play it. But I think it's 2.
We like teaser 2, but we'll play teaser 3.
Okay, it might be teaser 2. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's teaser 3. It's my duty to warn you of what the future may hold for you and your children, and what it means to lose the most precious gift you could ever have: freedom.
This is a class war, but not only is it a class war, it's a war on humanity, and we will be rewarded or punished based on our behavior and exploited based on our health.
The financialization of the poor in the past is only the blueprint for what's to come for all of us in the future. And that future will be what was done before, only on steroids. It will be run on behavioral blockchain currency. Everyone will be tracked, monitored, and recorded into a blockchain ledger.
You know, I was speaking with someone earlier, and they were talking about thingification. That human beings are being turned into things. We're being thingified in essentially a global panopticon.
We still have an opportunity to stop the war on humanity.
Okay, well, that was number 3. Would you like to see number 2? Because I can bring it up.
Yeah, no, I actually want to talk a little bit about the teaser. What's that? Just push stop.
Yep.
There we go. Sorry, guys. We are not used to this technology. Okay. What I really like about teaser 3 is what Allison said about how we are being thingified.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really great term. And I remember during the first kind of .com wave, that thing 1 and thing 2, the Dr. Seuss characters were somehow really popular on,
yeah,
they were really popular on social media. What's going on? What are
Nothing.
You
you can be seen. You're being seen. I'm just looking for something else here.
Okay. So, they were really popular on social media, and they were, you would often see people. And in fact, in San Francisco, you would often see people in the early .com era, like wearing the T-shirts that would say "Thing One" and "Thing Two,"
right?
Because they, that's what the whole tech. What you looking for? Teaser 2?
Yeah,
it's right there.
I
okay,
it's
so
it's okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and play teaser 2. Is that what you're doing?
Well, I mean, go ahead and keep talking because
no, it's okay. I thought that term was really cool.
Yeah, thingification. Well, and you still see that now and then, but yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, you had a lot of the that thing. One thing too, people would show up, and especially in San Francisco during Beta Breakers, there would be a lot of people dressed up as Thing 1 and Thing 2. Right. Yeah, and like there would be entire families that were things. So anyway, okay, sorry about that. Let's watch 2. We were planning to watch that. Let's see here. And the wrong button again. Share screen.
So it looks like certain people are having trouble either seeing this on Facebook, or something's going on, because there's a couple of comments that have come through which I'm seeing for a second and then they're going away. Like, I can't seem to see what you're. Okay, good. So there's Brandy. Okay, great. So I just gave her message a comment. Sorry about the tag, Brandy. That was not us. Sorry about that. And anyone else who feels that they've been over tagged in this, that's not our style. So we're sorry about that.
Okay. Let's watch teaser 2.
This is the 4th Industrial Revolution.
The 13th Amendment, the one that says that slavery don't exist in America except in prisons, And of course, we know that we're not slaves. We don't have any desire to be slaves.
It's all about humanity.
What is being built, a prison is being built in this country, and who ends up in that prison? Well, maybe we all do, but we'll certainly say future generations are going to end up in that prison.
It's all about humanity.
We are being taught that we are not human. We are simply batteries that make the machine go. With the advent of digital tracking through blockchain ledger technology and artificial intelligence, every person, everything a person does, every health issue, every transaction, every transgression can be tagged and traced on the ledger.
Okay, let's bring us back up here. Let's see, there we go. Oh, there we are. So some folks have been upset at the excessive tagging.
Apparently.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know how many times we can grovel at the feet of people who are somehow being,
well,
tagged.
We're not trying to offend anybody. It's just, that's,
we're just in our business.
Okay. So
anyway,
anyway, that's my favorite of the 3 teasers. And
it's a lot of people's favorites.
Yeah.
There's this really sweet person on Twitter who I was like, you guys are like a music video. You guys make like music videos. And he tried to compare us to a really cool song that the band called Muse did 6 years ago. And what was really kind of, it's like a really creepy music video, but what was really creepy about it is that the person who was like in the music video is...
Go ahead.
Is the person that was in the music video had like a Corona ball head 6 years ago, guys.
Right.
So it's
Right.
like,
Well, I just got a message that our friend Judith sent us $100 for our fundraiser on Cash App, which is another great way to find us to donate money. So thank you, Judith. We do appreciate that, really, from the bottom of our hearts. That is just really...
My heart just went like this, literally. And I'm trying to stay calm. Thank you, Judith.
Yeah, thank you. You know, and this is how we hoped the fundraiser would go, that we'd be able to get the information as people you know, donate and information comes in. So thank you, Judith.
Thank you.
And
really
thank you, Lynn.
By that. Thank
you know, and again, today we're going for $500 in donations. So now we're looking for $400 in donations, 10 new patrons on Patreon. Oh, sorry, 9 new patrons on Patreon and 10 new subscribers on Rockfin. So if you're interested, those folks that have been asking us about Rockfin, please, you know, go over there and have a look. So the video 13 amended. Yeah. So the other thing that's interesting is that our Globotics video also deals with the same idea of slavery, but and slavery through employment, getting beyond the paradigm of wage slavery into a new form of wage slavery, downright slavery, to where you're being financialized. You're being made, money is being made from you from the debt that you incur in order to, you know, update your skills, your skill set as an employee, but which we've talked about in several videos now. But what we talk about in Globotics is getting beyond that and going into where we will be enslaved through technology in a way that none of us would have ever imagined. Now, you know, these are plans; they aren't for sures, but there are plans in store by 2050. There's plans to upload your consciousness into the cloud, and you would basically be able to work even if you're you don't have any physical abilities. You, through your consciousness, through your mind, could manipulate a haptic robot somewhere on another planet, or attend a meeting as a 3D avatar. And it's just, it's crazy. It's really nuts. But the problem with that is that, you know, even though they're saying, you know, it makes people more equal and there's more equity, and you know, people will never be able to retire, and I honestly, I don't know if that's such a good thing. And besides that, what happens to your consciousness when your body no longer is able to perform its functions? Does your consciousness stay in the cloud, and does it then work forever? Right. So these are some of the ethical questions that you know, we need to start asking ourselves and really apply to, you know, what is being proposed out there.
Right.
And, you know, this kind of stuff isn't being proposed in the mainstream media. Nobody's really, you know, talking about it because they want to do it to us like what they've been doing to us with the other stuff, with the medical industrial complex. You know, we are now all going to be people who be financialized through our health, through our bad health. We are all now considered sick, right?
Right.
So, you know, this is what we were talking about with like the 6 new hospitals, right? Or the hospital, you know, and like here in Pittsburgh, it was like, we moved here and it's like, what's with all the medical stuff? They went from... You're
either like working in the medical field, or you're like enslaved to it somehow, like being treated by it.
Right.
And that's it. That's your whole life here.
Yeah.
And so the global population is going to be, and I said this on Epiphany. So back in, you know, last year when there was Epiphany, I did like an audio on our blog, which we should probably talk about as well, our actual website. And I talked about how the whole world is going to be turning into like a big hospital, like a big urgent care center. Your restaurants are now turned into urgent care centers with the outdoor plastic, bubbles that you have to sit in. It looks a lot like a hospital room, doesn't it? So everything about your life is going to be done through the lens of health. You can't go to the library unless you've passed all this health criteria. You can't even go into the grocery store and buy formula for your baby without masking up and being like this healthy citizen. So everything is done through the criteria of health. And that's that's like Nazism, that's not living. That's I don't know what that is, but it's something so grotesque. It's such a grotesque shift into the way that we live our lives as human beings that I don't want to be any part of it.
Well, there's a lot of reasons.
I don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons the people talk about the Matrix so much, and those reasons are, it's a metaphor. I don't think that we'll be living in pods. In fact, in the Globotics video, we say it's not going to be like that at all. It's going to be like something else.
Mm-hmm.
And but the pods, that's all metaphor, right? And we will be used as a battery for the economy, in a number of different ways. And one of those ways, like we pointed out, was through the medical industrial complex. And we were shocked. In San Francisco, there was like a lot of medical hospitals and facilities and complexes, but they were all sort of concentrated in one part of town. Whereas this is all over the place.
They're everywhere.
And it's basically they replaced the steel industry that went away after NAFTA with the medical industry. And somebody that we knew was from here who lived in San Francisco told us, now make sure that you choose which insurance, or look into like which insurance you want to have, because it's a real big deal there. And it's like, yeah, it is. It's like, it's either like the Blue Cross Blue Shield equivalent here, or it's the local university hospital system. And it's very strange how dominant that industry is here. We do have a Google office and we do have some other tech offices, but that seems to be the primary industry here in Pittsburgh now.
Is hospitals.
Yeah, it's
hospital industrial complex,
mm-hmm.
because we are all sick people now.
Mm-hmm.
We are not normal human beings bringing our unique perspectives and our attitudes and our bullshit, into this mixture of human existence. We're all just sick people. That's all we are. We're just sick people. We're just sick people who are supposed to stay home and teach the AI. That's all we are. So that's not a life. That's not existing. That's not living your best life. That's actually the opposite of life. That's anti-life.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Well,
do you want to? What's up?
Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, go on.
I was just going to do one more plug. Again, this is our fundraiser show. So we're looking for $400 in new donations, 9 new patrons on Patreon, and 10 new subscribers on Rockfin.
Right.
Okay. So somebody before we did the show asked us to cover a topic that neither of us really know a lot about, but apparently today is the anniversary of Osama bin Laden being taken down, so apparently he was living in a compound in Pakistan, and they snuck in, and there was that movie. What was it?
Zero Dark 30.
Zero Dark 30. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So my friend texted me, and he texted me what I'm going to read, because it's so funny, because I could never do it justice. So apparently Osama bin Laden avoided capture for years with his ubiquitous kidney dialysis machine. They then heroically surrounded his compound, shot him through the left eye, and miraculously matched up his DNA, and then gave him a respectful burial at sea.
Yeah, and I remember that when that occurred.
That's so funny.
I was listening to national propaganda radio, and they were talking about how they had to dump his body in the sea because they couldn't have him being a martyr, out there, buried somewhere that people would gather,
go to his gravesite and
right.
Yeah,
come on,
mourn his death.
Yeah, and they always give these lame excuses that are they're plausible to normal ordinary people who have their jobs and they go about their day-to-day work and I was one of those, and I thought, yeah, that's plausible. Wait a minute. That doesn't sound right. That sounds pretty weird, actually.
Yeah.
Why would they do that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is we're living. The United States is basically the new Rome, right? So why didn't they parade his body through the streets?
Right?
He was enemy number one. I mean,
right?
But what I thought was funny was that, over the period of time that, the war on terror was going on, from the W era through the Obama era, Osama bin Laden,
era, but
regimes. Yeah, there you go. That Osama bin Laden's videos. He got younger as time went on, as opposed to looking older as time went on. And I didn't know about the dialysis machine. Well, that's probably why he had to move to Pakistan, because he couldn't run the dialysis machine in the cave. That was the other thing that killed me, was that here this man is running this diabolical world network of international terrorist cells from a cave in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Wow, you'd think that they would see the solar panels running all the electricity and yeah, I love that shit. That's just funnier than hell.
Oh. Yeah. Anyway, so we wanted to bring that up because apparently today's the 10th anniversary that the SEAL team went in and got him.
Yeah,
we got him. Isn't that what Clinton said? Hillary, didn't she say that?
I think so.
Wasn't she Secretary of State at the time?
She was. Yeah.
So
well, I went over to Wikipedia. That bastion of unbiased knowledge.
Right.
And they said something about the SEAL team the operation was codenamed Operation Neptune Spear. So Neptune, burial at sea. So right from the beginning, they were going to give us that narrative that they were going to dump him in the ocean. So that's it's, as they say in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that's a lot of dingoes' kidneys. Yeah. Something else that's going on today. Today is May 1st. Today's May Day.
May Day.
Okay. Two things connected to that. If those of you have not danced around the phallic maypole yet, you still have time to do that. This is Beltane, the Gaelic May Day festival. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's also celebrated by the Wicca people.
Mm-hmm.
The Wiccans, the witches and warlocks in their covens and such. This is a holiday that comes between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. There are 8 of these holidays. They're called samas, something like that. So like Samhain is one of them. So the Irish New Year in October, like Halloween period. So they come every 6 weeks, and so they're in that in between point of the first the equinox and the first day of summer, so the summer solstice. They call the summer solstice, June 22nd or whatever it is, the midsummer. So that makes me wonder if May Day is considered the first day of summer in these holidays. I haven't found any evidence of that, but that seems to be what's going on. But historically, it was observed throughout Ireland and Scotland and the Isle of Man. And it's it starts on the eve, April 30th, where there's a bonfire, and then they decorate the homes with flowers. Men and women used to put flowers in, decorate themselves, put flowers in their hair and such, probably their beard. And May bushes, visiting Hollywells, feasting.
Mhm.
The other thing that I was reading the other day was that there would be it was very much a feast of virility, let's say.
Yeah.
There was lots of sexual comings and goings. They would, they would play in the forest all night. We're keeping it clean. Play in the forest all night, let's say. And it was a time when married couples would take off their rings and they could do whatever they'd like to. It was also a time when people could marry for a year and a day. And so that, that phrase, I've always heard that. It's like, oh, it was a jolly great time for a year and a day. I'm like looking like and sounding like that dude in Japan. I'm sorry.
Dude in Japan.
Yeah. So it was like, so it was like a time where, somebody could be married for a year and a day. So they'd be married on May 1st.
Mhm.
And then that vow would only last until, the day after May 1st, May 2nd, the following year. And so, that's, these phrases and these kinds of words, you wonder where they come from. And they also often do come from older, holidays and pagan things. Yeah. If you want to call it pagan, I don't know. So today is Beltane. The other thing is it's also known as May Day, right?
May Day.
So people, that's where the maypole comes in. And if you, Winter Oak posted a cool little tweet about May Day today. So if you follow Winter Oak on Twitter, go see what that was about. And then May Day has also become like associated with workers and the working class. And so as the reason for that is that on the 4th of May is the Haymarket Affair, in which there was basically it was a massacre that was the result of workers, specifically anarchists, who were coming out and speaking about the labor unions trying to unionize laborers, and the powers that be in Chicago at the time did not like that, and the cops came along. They accused the anarchists of throwing a bomb in their midst, and so they opened fire, and they a bunch of people were killed. I think it was like 8 men were held, tried, and some of them, not all of them, were hung. And the result of that was the basis for, or the fact that was happening was the basis for the International Workers' Day, which came about in the First International. So they named the 1st of May as May Day, the Labor Day, and so that's why you would see all the. I remember as a kid seeing video from Russia of all the military hardware being paraded down the main streets of Moscow. And the Politburo, or was it the Politburo? No, anyway, the political elites all wearing big hats and standing there and watching. And it was,
Yeah. So that's why it's interesting that JP had his Facebook page taken down the day before May Day. I mean, look, this is not lost on us. We are, big supporters of the working class. The working class, builds the infrastructure for the United States. The working class, the diners, the small businesses, the co-ops, this kind of demographic.
Well, also
are what keep this economy going.
They're also the people who take care of people.
Right.
If you've noticed that, it's always poor people who take care of people in hospitals, in care facilities for children, for care facilities for elders, and so it's the poor people that have to wipe the asses of others, others' relatives, and it's the
irony that he would have his Facebook page taken down, when we're doing a May Day live stream event, and we're living, as working class, trying to make an income is not lost on us.
Yeah.
It's definitely an attack on the lower classes, for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
And as you pointed out, it's also feels like an attack on the arts.
an attack on the arts. for
And
sure.
you know, there was, I think it was his name was Robert Morris. There was an artist, artisan artist. He was like sort of the spearhead of the arts and crafts movement in the late 19th century, early 20th century. Do we have a critter in the background? We do.
Kitty cats.
Who
that's
was he changed his political tendency over time, but generally he was anarcho-communist and socialist, kind of, you know. He remained in that area, the leftist area of politics, and he would often write about you know, workers and workmanship, and he was against what had become from, you know, what was the result of the Industrial Revolution, which really was the beginning of wage slavery and exploited the labor of so many people. That took, you know, when that revolution took place, it took generations for the workers and the working class, the people who were most affected by it, to find a way to deal with it, to make it, you know, so it actually benefited them, not just exploited them and hurt them.
Yeah.
But he was pointing to a time before when people did not use mass-produced, you know, products and items, and that, you know, items that people used every day in their lives, they either made them themselves or they bought things that were made from a workshop where, you know, you had people who were learning a craft and they did that craft and they made it, you know, it was part of them, you know. And this was pointed out to me through another reading where, you know, the Industrial Revolution took the act of making from the person and put it on the machine, and then the person was now operating the machine to make the thing, right? So now the person was now enslaved to the machine. And these are things that we're talking about now, and especially in the fourth Industrial Revolution, where we will be slaves to the machine in a much different fashion.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
William Morris, Robert Morris. I think it's William Morris. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, check him out. Just look up Morris and Arts and Crafts.
Yeah. I'm just checking the live feeds and making sure that we're not over tagging and that we're everything's good.
Are we still online? Are we still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we're really good.
Okay.
So, all right. So what we'd like to do next is talk about how to support us. Once again, this is a fundraiser. We want to thank Judith and Lynn for Judith donating and Lynn for signing up to be a patron.
Right.
So we're looking for 9 new patrons. You can start out at $2 a month. We are seeking more one-time donations, what you can afford. JP gave a goal of $500, but obviously it's whatever people can afford. We ask, if you're going to use PayPal, we ask that you make it a minimum of 7 because they take fees out. So a minimum of a $7 donation at PayPal will get you all of our video essays that we have not made available to the public. We will email you privately those videos so that you can take a look at them. Or you can join Rockfin for free and make you can put some money in the tip jar, or you can sign up for $9.99 a month, going to rockfin.com/bookofhours and subscribe to the platform, and it gives you access to all of our private and premium content, as well as other private and premium content that other content creators have over there. Rockfin is new for us. We're just now up and running on the platform. So it's different than YouTube in that you have to be interviewed and vetted and all that stuff. So it's a real honor to be the only artists on that platform. And this came, a patron of ours suggested that we try to join Rockfin. And so we want to thank her for that as well.
I'm going to attend to the little critter. I'll be right back.
Oh, the kitty cat wants out, I guess. So you can do that. You can still become a patron for $2 a month if that's if that's in your budget, or you can make a one-time donation on PayPal, or you can go to Rockfin and leave a tip. You can sign up for free at Rockfin, leave a tip in the tip jar, or become a Rockfin member for $10 a month, or $9.99 a month. So what I want to talk briefly about our next video essay that we're currently working on. We just finished Globotics, which is available to our patrons, and it's on Rockfin as well.
And we'll show that teaser in just a little bit.
We'll show that teaser in a little bit, but in the meantime, what I'd like to do is talk about the next video essay, which is a little bit different. So you want to talk about it?
Yeah. Well, this is something that you came up with and that we've been talking about, so I'd like you to take the lead on talking about it, because it's a unique video project to us, and one where we're going to be going into new territory. So I'd like you to kind of talk about this. Are you trying to tweet somebody or?
No, I'm just making sure. I was wondering if I should, when we're done here, I'll share this on some other platforms.
Yeah.
When it's complete.
We're going to upload it to Rockfin.
Right. The next video essay is we're going to step away from technology, and we're going to step away from, some of these really dark subject matters, and we're going to go more into the human aspect of things. So we have 5 or 6 subject matters that we're going to tackle, 5 or 6 individuals and how their lives have been reshaped and and changed, how they started out as one kind of person in the beginning of the national emergency, which was March 13th, 2020, and how over the last year or so they have, their behavior has changed, their personality has changed, even their focus in life and who they are has changed. So we will have, and it'll be kind of an armchair analysis of these things, armchair psychological look at these people. We don't pretend to be experts. We don't, pretend to have the certifications or anything like that. We're just a couple of creatives making movies. And so we're going to make a film about, or a video essay, we like to call them, about 5 or 6 different people that have really done this major psychological and emotional change once the national emergency took place. And we'll just describe them in kind of an NPR Radio Lab style.
Right. Yeah. I don't think we're going to go to like This American Lifestyle, but like Radio Lab is a touchstone for us. And
so we'll use features. We'll use different animation to describe each individual. The stories will sound familiar to you, but they're not really based on anything real. It's all just it's
the only one persona that's being
that's actually real
will be
Yo-Yo Ma.
Yo-Yo Ma.
Yeah.
So I thought originally we were talking about we were also including Louis Pasteur, but I don't know if we're going to do that or not. But,
well, maybe.
So as you can tell, we're still kind of working this out. We haven't really got into serious writing on it yet. April is one of those months, and you guys know this too, where
well, there's some writing that's been done on it.
Yeah,
people need to know that we're constantly writing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that's not
to say that we haven't done anything on it.
This is what video essayists do, or scriptwriters do, is we are constantly doing something. We're constantly, so that by the time we do put the pieces together, it's not like we're trying to be like, okay, now what am I doing?
Right.
We've got it all. We've got to give it some shape first, and give it, some weight. We have to know what we're working with.
But I guess the point that I was trying to make is that, sometimes we do have to take a little bit of a break in between each project a little bit from the intensive work that goes into it when we're in production. So, April it's the time for planting and the tax season, so lots of things are going on, but in the midst of all this, we're still working in the background, especially like conceptualizing and concepting out a lot of these things. So, we say that it takes maybe, weeks to do a video essay. That's not counting the time that we, mull it over in our heads and talk about it with each other and, put pen to paper or pixels to screen, and,
Yeah.
So it's the conceptualization, I think, is, it's one of the more fun things that we do, because we start talking about it and throwing ideas around, but we really don't see it coming to fruition until we really start putting it together into the final script and doing research for the video clips and the music, all part of that. So. And again, sometimes that time isn't even included in our estimate of like how much time we put into stuff.
It's amazing that we only have 2,600 subscribers on YouTube, because we're basically better than anyone else out there. And I'm not being arrogant or narcissistic or anything like that. You can go ahead and try to armchair analyze me all you want. But the point is that we are filmmakers. We are creatives. We are artists. We have media backgrounds. We have marketing backgrounds, design and art backgrounds.
Yeah.
So, we're not broadcasters. We're not, just interviewing people. We're actually making really creative, really interesting, unique things. That's why the film festival reached out to us. But it would be nice if we had the 10,000 YouTube subscribers that we deserve. It would be nice if we could get at least 60 patrons. It would be nice if, people were even aware that we even existed. We're being shadow banned and blocked, and then we get sniped at and swiped at by people who are either jealous of us and they try to, suppress us. I mean, it's just, nobody knows us around like where we live. One or two people do, and they're like, you guys are like famous filmmakers from San Francisco, right? And I'm like, sure, why not?
Well,
So, I mean, it would be nice if we had more support and more of a reach and a bigger audience, given that nobody's really doing what we're doing. So hopefully, Globotics, we can make it public soon, and that'll put us over the edge. Everybody who's seen it has been like, come on, you got to make this public. Yeah. And we've been like, well, we can't.
One of our friends and supporters has told us that it kind of reframes the way that we, well, maybe I can find it, but the way that we can talk about slavery, but the humanity and the struggle that we're trying to put forth, right? And to try to beat those that are seeking to oppress us. And it kind of he said that it reframes that argument and creates a new way of talking about things, which I thought was really wonderful compliment. And he begged us to put it up for, available. And I would like to do that. So, again, thank you to Judith for her donation, and thank you to Lynn for becoming a patron. Let's see, we got, you can go to paypal.me/bookofhours and donate whatever you feel. We're looking for $400 in donations. We are also accepting new patrons. We're looking for 9 new patrons today at patreon.com/bookofhours. You can start as low as $2 a month on Patreon. Also, you can go to Rockfin and become a member for free, but then you can subscribe to our channel, Rockfin/bookofhours, and for $9.99 a month. And you can also see premium content, not only for us, but for all the people who create premium content out there on Rockfin. There's a lot of heavy hitters. There are some comments on YouTube that I'd like to mention, if you'd like to talk about that in a moment.
YouTube?
Yeah. Well, I would like to say hi to Lucy Cat and People First.
Yeah.
Paul in London from People First said, Happy May Day. Workers and oppressed people unite. All right, comrade.
Oh, was that Paul? In London? That's Paul in London.
No, it's Paul in London, but it's not.
It's Paul. Paul is not in.
Yeah. And then Lucy Cat said, we are constantly reminded that we are weak, sick, powerless, and in constant danger. So yeah, referring back to our conversation about the medical industrial complex.
And we're all just going to be like,
Yeah.
sick people who, need to be cared for. We can't even go just like, sit down and have a milkshake with our family at the restaurant without it being some sort of medical intervention.
Right.
So,
well, we were talking about
it's really getting annoying.
We were talking about globotics a moment ago. Let's play the teaser.
Okay.
Let's see. We'll do this, and we'll find globotics.
It's a good idea. Globotics is super fun.
Yeah. All right. So let's see.
Step out into the heart of the sun and the trees. I love to make friends with my enemies. Can you feel this resonance with me? With me. I reach out for life. I reach out for love.
Things are not going back to normal.
Please be gentle. I'm just an economist.
Okay, so let's stop that. Where are we? Okay, there we go. All right.
Make us bigger again.
Yeah, I did. I thought I did.
Well, you gotta go to the top.
Maybe that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. All
Okay,
right.
guys, thanks for your patience.
Yeah.
Yeah, so JP had a lot of fun looking up robot footage for that. I actually learned a program called Blockly. It's like a children's program that comes out of Google, and it's part of their their learning curriculum now. So yay, I can code like a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
So yeah, because they're
Goals, Julie. Goals.
Yeah. So in the video itself, which runs about 25 minutes, we talk about a new robot that's on the market. It's called I forget what's it.
Clickbot.
Clickbot. And so they use Blockly technology to make Clickbot.
So you animate Clickbot by using Blockly coding.
Blockly coding,
Yeah.
not technology.
Yeah.
Blockly coding to make it go.
Right.
To make it.
So this is how we're training our future, our children of the future
Right.
Workers of the world.
Right.
And they're not going to be uniting because we won't be able to unite because
No.
we'll all be separated in our own little places and doing
On
our
our
own
tablets.
little, yeah.
So this is sort of a follow up to lifelong learning. Lifelong learning has about 5,000 or 6,000 views. We spent an hour on the phone with Allison McDowell, who gave us a really good, kind of a good head start. We were able to parse through her,
Fire hose of information.
her fire hose of information and recontextualize it and relate it back to the public in something that was understood. That's what people say about lifelong learning. They say that, and also communitarianism, which is another big heavy hitter of ours, which has about 12,000 views on our YouTube page, is that we take these really complicated concepts, these really difficult to pin down and hard to understand concepts, either with technology or with philosophy, and put it, make it more attainable, make it easier to understand. That's what we're here for.
Mhm.
We discovered that when we did Quarantyranny. We were like, okay, we need to try to explain to people that this is a, central bank kind of takeover thing, and let's try to make it about how people are going to be reshaped as human beings. And so we took this really kind of existential concept, which a lot of people have a hard time really understanding, and we put it in Core and Tyranny, which is about an hour long. It's our very first video essay that we did about a year ago. So you can go back and watch that as well on YouTube. But Globotics is our latest one. And it's really interesting to see the arc. It really does feel like Globotics has closed out this, a lot of this subject matter, which comes out of the World Economic Forum and, the kind of bullshit that Klaus Schwab was talking about, which is that you will own nothing and be happy. Welcome to your new slave life, that kind of thing.
Right.
It feels like Globotics, rounds out that subject matter, and it's time for us to venture into new territory, and that's what we'll be doing with the new video essay. And then the next huge one that actually JP has wanted to do this video essay
for a year
since I've known him. I met JP in 2012, and within a couple of years of us dating, he started to understand that the green movement wasn't what people are being told. And one of the writers that really just kind of shored it up for him and really confirmed his suspicion about things was Cory Morningstar and her green. The manufacturing of Greta Thunberg is a very popular one that a lot of people reference. But JP got more out of her breakdown of how the green New Deal and the Paris Climate Accord isn't all that it seems. So
in San Francisco, before we even knew about Cory, I was already starting to realize that things weren't quite the way they were. I was involved in the early 2000s with the green business movement, which was an extension of the green movement, and it was part of the whole natural capitalist sort of rhetoric and movement. And I realized soon after Julie and I met, we had attended something called the Green Festival, which was basically and it kind of devolved from the point after we went together for a variety of reasons. It wasn't us, it was them. But basically, it was just a marketplace for capitalism in green velvet. It's just it was greenwashing. It was total greenwashing, even though they said they weren't doing that. And as as I started stepping away from that world and thinking about it more, I realized that everything that was being told to me, all the things that even the people that I looked up to and admired were just full of shit. It was all smoke and mirrors, and it was all trying to basically make money and financialize the environment and nature,
right,
and do nothing for people,
right.
And so we've been since we started doing the essays, since before the national emergency took place in March, I wanted to do a green video.
Oh, he's been wanting to do a green video essay that kind of talks about what we all know anyway, which is that it's not what it claims, since I want to say 2014 or 2015.
Well, I don't know about that.
It's been a long time that he's wanted to do.
I know that I've conceived of it since at least 2019, and so anyway,
that's a long time still, though.
Yeah,
2 years to try to do a video essay,
right? And actually starting writing it, about a year ago, and I set it aside, and I want it to be part of the new model series, which is the fourth industrial. It encompasses the concepts around the fourth industrial revolution and the Great Reset, which is basically what the new model series is about.
So New Model is what we call our series of video essays that describe the fourth industrial revolution. So we call it the new model.
Right. So Globotics is part of that, communitarianism, lifelong learning. A number of videos
The Great Reset
are part of that. Yeah, the Great Reset are part of that series. And, when you said Globotics kind of finishes out a
a thought.
Yeah,
a
train of thought or a theme. I was like, yeah, I agree with that. That's totally correct. However, just to let you know, it doesn't end the series called The New Model. It just ends sort of a concept within that, a construct.
Sure.
Because there's other areas that we want to talk about that fit in with the New Model series, and one of those is, we've been talking about doing like an arts and entertainment type of video.
Oh yeah,
the green one.
The green one, and then what arts and entertainment will be like in the future, which we're already seeing signs of. We're already seeing people kind of dealing with the way that they have to, some of the things that they have to do just to go into festivals. So we're already seeing it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a big money-making scam, a big money-making scheme. It's all about financializing your experiences.
I think that I have the feeling that a lot of the venues and the music festivals that are starting to reemerge are going along with this reluctantly.
Yes, I get that feeling too.
That they're going through these things. Like a lot of people were supporting the what was that called? The Save Our Stages or Save Our Stage.
Yeah, Save Our Stages
movement campaign.
A hashtag Save Our Stages. Yeah.
And that was all tied in with with the COVID financialization model.
Right.
And they didn't. I don't think they knew that.
Right.
And now they're being told like the things that they are going to have to do, and the services that they're going to have to pay for, the wraparound services that they're going to have to pay for and charge their customers for in order to present live music again. And it's just nothing has been like said outright, but nothing has been said outright at the same time, right? And you get this feeling of reluctance. Like, for instance, there's a promoter and a venue that's kind of associated with that promoter in San Francisco. The venue I used to live behind, and Julie and I used to go see a lot of shows there because it was a 5-minute walk, so it was easy to go see something. And
less than that.
And it was a premier. It was like one of the best venues in the country, let alone if not the world.
Right.
So it was like this is all this in my backyard, right? So now they're starting to present shows again. They're not talking about the things that you will have to do to gain entry into the club.
They're being like really cool, like really silent. Like
they are. The only thing that
silent.
The only thing they show, the only thing they say is we're following the guidelines, blah 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 that everybody says, and they're selling face coverings that have their logo on it. Okay.
Right.
So those are the only two indications that you can tell that they're like, capitulating or doing whatever. So it feels really reluctant. The promoter that's associated with them present a big festival every year in Golden Gate Park. And they changed it from the summertime that they usually present it
to the end of October.
Yeah, to October. Both cold times of the year.
That's going to be really interesting.
Yeah. I thought that they would have done it in the warmer part of October, which is one of the hottest months in San Francisco.
Right.
But anyway, nonetheless, again, they're being really vague
purposefully vague
about what kinds of rigmaroles you're going to have to go through. Now, towards the end of like our stay in San Francisco, we were actually, Julie and I would work for them as volunteers, and we could get to see, a day of the festival, and the security for that thing started getting really out of hand. I felt it was ridiculous, the security that you'd have to go through to get in. So I'm hoping that I have a feeling that they're going to be the same way with the COVID things, but I just have no idea, but it still feels like they're being reluctant about it.
Yeah, it does. It does feel like they're being really reluctant. They're not giving a lot of information about what a concert going or a festival going experience will be. It's because they have to change and update what their health and security practices will be or protocols will be once it comes down the pike. And they're floating the idea they, meaning the media and the powers that be and the corporations, are floating the idea of a COVID passport, which means that all the festivals and the concert venues are going to have to update their health and security and safety protocols if the idea of a passport pushes through, which is why it's up to us to make sure that it doesn't. Because I really don't think, like JP just said, I really don't think that the venues are on board with this. I think that they will see a huge drop in attendance and people will be demanding their money back if they have to, you know, show them their papers, kind of, you know, kind of like that's, you know, even the most like, you know, tried and true liberal who believes the whole COVID stuff or whatever, even they are going to be like, you know, this doesn't feel quite right. You know?
I think, you know, the most privileged that would attend these concerts and
will they
festivals.
Be okay with it?
Well, no, because they, you know, like, you know, for instance, we were talking about how, you know, gathering together what we could find out about the wraparound services and the things that people would have to do to go see concerts. You know, they would have to have a test before, you know, a little before the concert, right?
Well, it's like when you fly now.
Right.
You have to have a negative COVID test within like 48 hours of flying.
Right. So what if you come up positive? So then
it would be the same thing for going to a show.
Exactly. So you lose out on that money for a festival or a show. That's a lot of money for a festival.
I know. And outside lands is like, you know, $1,000.
It's hundreds of dollars. Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of money. It is so much money. It will make your head explode.
And so, you know, I can't imagine people just freely giving up that money, right? And I can't imagine that the promoter would want to give it back either. So where does that, you know, that's an area of limbo that you know nobody has really talked about,
right?
And you know, because of the you know, if you do have a you know, a passport or some sort of like device app that says, you know, you are approved, you can go to this show. Okay, that would also entail, to me, that your ticket is tied to your identity and so you cannot resell that ticket to somebody else.
Right. So you can't. So you're out a lot of money.
And I just don't see
angry customers.
Right. I don't see a lot of people putting up with that. When it starts coming down to big money, people are not going to put up with that.
Yeah. So right now what they're saying is just, you know, wear a mask and we've set up stations for you to, you know, wash your hands. Okay. So people are like, okay, all right, whatever. Right. I guess I'll do that. But when you start getting into you got to take a 48-hour COVID test and make sure that you're negative before you come in to see the show. That's a little bit weird, you know. Same thing. What's up?
Frida just said interstate flying does not require a C lie test.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. I was thinking of international flights, but that's really good to know about the interstate flying that doesn't require the test. I've had two invitations, 3 invitations to go visit friends in San Francisco who are like, just get on a plane and come visit us and you know, enjoy San Francisco again for like a long weekend or something, you know, just hang out.
But the way things are in San Francisco and the fact that you have to muzzle yourself on the plane.
I would have to muzzle myself for 7 hours.
And then you get there and you have to keep yourself muzzled.
And then you have to keep yourself muzzled. And
I don't want to go to San Francisco.
Right. So the idea of going back home and not being able to experience home, like under my memories of what home
and expectations
is and my expectations. Kev Truth.
Yeah, I was going to read that next.
Okay. Hi.
So you read it.
Hi, Kevin.
This came in a little bit ago. It popped in.
Thanks for the OBL nod. Much love from Chicago.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for your help too, Kevin, and getting and supporting us and getting the word out about our brand and our platform. I mean, I always say this every time, and I've said it like 3 times already, but I'm always really surprised that we don't have like 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, because we're really unique and we're really, you know, like we have a lot of talent. And it's really interesting.
If we say so ourselves. One of the things that I was talking to Julie about was it's like,
okay to be proud of your work.
It is.
You know, all this talk about narcissism and psychopathy and shit. Save that for the billionaire class that's turning us all into slaves.
Right.
Please do not apply this kind of like terminology to me when I'm over here trying to scratch out a living.
I said the other day, it's like we're somewhere between Adam Curtis and
Koyaanisqatsi.
and Julie tweeted that out.
Right.
And
Koyaanisqatsi,
the folks who
like
love the movie or the
like the
produced
Twitter
movie,
page for Koyaanisqatsi
liked it,
they like retweeted me.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
If you've never seen, and we've mentioned this before, but do look for Koyaanisqatsi. If you have a chance to see it, do see it. It's about 40 years old now, but it still holds up, I feel.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah,
it talks about the change of humanity. It's
and
what did they say it is? It's a look at
life out of balance.
Life out of balance is what Koyaanisqatsi is actually translated in the Hopi language. That's a loose translation. Is life out of balance.
Yeah, and I think also it really illustrates the negative effects that industrial capitalism has had on the world.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, it doesn't even get into the really bad stuff that you would see in countries, in the poorer sections of countries where oil drilling, like Nigeria, for instance, the degradation of the environment, especially for the people who live around those areas. But that kind of thing happens here in the United States too, where there's a lot where there's oil drilling, or in the areas where the shale is being excavated for oil extraction. The degradation of the environment really does affect the people who live around it. And and it's funny, I grew up in Southern California, and even in some of the middle class neighborhoods in like Huntington Beach, there were oil wells and pumps like pumping away like as part of the neighborhood. It was weird. And the thing that I didn't like about it, well, I mean, aside from the fact that it was it's ugly, was the noise, the smell. And I was hanging out with a friend who lived on the same block as one, and it would affect the light, like the electric light. It would be like kind of this weird, like the cycle, the electrical cycle in the light bulbs would be affected by the pumping. So it was a really weird. There's things you'd never expect.
Right.
That would affect it. But that's nothing compared to what some people have to deal with. And like in China around mining and the air pollution that goes on. So industrial capitalism has really affected people and the world quite a bit. And this movie talks about that without saying anything.
Without having a script.
Yeah,
it's all just music.
It's all music and visuals. It's
music
really
and
great.
Visuals. If we could do something like that and make it so profound and so life altering for people, then that's probably where we're headed.
Yeah.
I feel like that's definitely where we're headed.
And you can't do that without some funding. So let's go back to the pitch. We're looking for $400 in donations. You can go to, let me go to the captions. You can go to paypal.me/Book of Hours and make a donation. And if you make a donation of $7 or more, we'll send you a link to our premium content. You just saw the Globotics video teaser. Yeah. And you can see the whole thing if you donate today. We're looking for 9 new patrons on patreon.com/Book of Hours. So sign up to become a patron for as little as $2 a month, but you can give more if you'd like. And then also we have a new platform, and we've been talking about this, Rockfin. You can join for free and see free content from everybody, including us. We have lots of free content on Rockfin, but we also have premium content. And the way to see that is to sign up as a member and pay $9.99 a month. You can see our premium content as well as the premium content of all the other providers, content creators out there who have premium content.
Yep. So one other thing that we're gonna wrap this up because it's been almost 2 hours.
Yeah, we're getting up on 2 hours now.
I think we will wrap it up. And but one thing that you can do if you're watching on Facebook is you can go to Book of Hours Media. Book of Hours Media has all of our video, not all of them, has a good number of video essays available to the public. And you guys, or video blurbs or video sketchbooks, and you guys can go there and just hit the like button and the follow button, and that would be great. We're going to be submitting our 50-minute video essay that's not available to the public. We're going to be submitting it to a film festival this month, and we'll be using, if they ask if we have a Facebook page, that's the Facebook page that we'll use to show them, that we exist. Some of you already know about our art and community page where we do audios, and sometimes, we kind of go off on tangents a little bit and we get into arguments and, and all that stuff. But that's, and then we also put content from other people onto our Book of Hours art and community page. We also have our own work up there. But our Book of Hours Book of Hours media page, Book of Hours Media on Facebook is where it's strictly media. And and you can see it. You can go there and just hit like and follow, and that will help, generate more interest in it, and it'll get rolling. That's how the algorithms work, right? So just do that. And I think that I want to just say, a sincere and humble thank you to all of our patrons. You know who you are. Because of your monthly donations, it will help offset when JP loses his part-time job, starting June 1st. It will help offset that. It won't replace it, but it helps a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so this is a starting point. We're trying to get to a place where we can be filmmakers that will actually change where this thing is going. And we're in the Fourth Reich now. We're in Nazism now. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to be at the front lines with my media brand, with us together, turning it back around. It needs to turn back around to, freedom. Right. We need to turn this around. So with your help, we can do that. Mm-hmm. Activists can do that. People on the ground, people who are keeping their, even people who are keeping their little diners open, mm-hmm. and defying all of these nonsense orders is a good start. Yeah. So,
and like we said in Quarantine, the fascism and now Nazism that we will be seeing, and this is what we said last year in March or in April, a year ago, is that it won't be in the style of the 1930s, right? It will not be in the, as we call it, the grand bombastic style of the Third Reich. It will be more subtle, and it's coming through in ways that we've been seeing through talking about separating people who are vaccinated from those who are.
Right. Closing down Facebook accounts with no reason whatsoever, when there's never been a history of a problem with a 14-year Facebook account.
Well, and we've been encountering that kind of thing with community standards on Vimeo, mm-hmm. as well as YouTube. Vimeo was the first one to go after us. It was the last one I expected because we pay for that service, and they took down a couple of our videos based on community standards, and they gave the exact reasons, and those exact reasons had nothing to do with the content in that video. So, they'll tell you, they'll just say whatever they want to.
Yeah.
Right?
So they're just going to pull shit out of their back pocket and blame you and accuse you of things that aren't true. It's basically like being an at-will employee in a corporate environment where mm-hmm. they can let you go for no reason at all. They don't have to give a reason.
Right.
And so that's what your life is like. And I think what's even more troubling, and I don't want to end this on a negative note, so we'll try to turn this back around. But I think what's troubling for me too is that, throughout the last year, there has been a concerted, solid effort to have people, come together left and right, threw away their political, positions and came together to really fight all of this. But now I see that it's starting to splinter again. There's people in, deeply influential positions that are just massively blocking and doing sweeps of block, and it's like that's counterintuitive. It's counter,
right? Especially when when a person like that is talking about unity, right?
I know.
So it's frustrating to see how this.
I think what's happening is that people are at the end of their rope. they're tired of all of this, and they're starting to act out the way like little kids act out in a daycare center when they don't get to go out and play or get their juice box.
Right.
You know, it's the same thing. It's like
Right.
people are just really starting to act out and you know, take it out on each other, and the internal squabbling is taking place, and the sniping, and you know, and all this stuff. And that's only natural because we're only human. And so it gets a bit of a pass, but at the same time, it totally derails from, you know, the real issue at hand.
Right.
So I think that we're very inclusive as creatives, as, you know, as a media platform, and that's why we're called Book of Hours. OURS.
Right.
You know, it's all of ours. The whole world is ours. We're not going to go blocking people for no reason or trying to take people down for no reason. That's not our, that's, you know, why we said in our last newsletter, we made it very clear that art is inclusive. We are an inclusive, message. It's all about inclusivity. So, you know, it's sad to see that, you know, this kind of behavior taking place where there's all this splintering and blocking and all this stuff. But I think what really was the last straw for me was when his Facebook page got taken down. You know, I had been sort of tiptoeing around, you know, changing my behavior, playing nicey nice, and, you know, being polite and all this stuff. But then when his Facebook page was taken down yesterday, one day before we were doing like the most important thing in our life, which is, this is our survival mechanism. This is how we, you know,
it's our
live.
Business. It's
our business.
Our
and
income.
for his Facebook page, which has 3,000 connections, to be wiped off the planet the day before we needed to reach
out to those people.
Reach out to those people. It was like I screamed and hollered and yelled and wrote emails to Facebook and, you know, did what I had to do to bring it back up.
Yeah, and I even made a video. So
And he made a video.
Right.
He took his energy and you know, all of his anger and frustration and shock, and rerouted it into you know, a creative format, which is typically what we do.
Yeah.
So I stand by my position of, you know, standing up for myself. You know, I'm allowed to do that.
Right.
I think that, you know, I got the distinct impression that, you know, there were people who wanted us to just go, you know, crawl off into a corner and nurse our wounds and just go away. Just go away, you know, and that's not, how are we supposed to survive if we do that?
Right.
So
right. Now we got to fight. We got to fight.
got to fight.
Two more comments. Lucy Cat said in regard to something earlier, amen. Thank you for helping freedom-loving people connect. Thank you, Lucy Cat, for tuning in and saying that. And then Live Alive.
Live Alive.
Nice to see you too. Thank you for the talk. And thank you for tuning in. Liv, you're an old friend, and I'm happy that we reconnected and that you're part of what we do with Book of Hours. So,
For sure.
So, anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
I just, you know, it's 2 hours now, so we're going to close it out. Go to Rockfin, go to Patreon, go to YouTube, and subscribe. Go to Book of Hours Media on Facebook and give it a like. Holy smokes, good job in staying in the fight. Thanks, Marcia.
Thank you, Marcia.
Holy smokes.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So if you're just tuning in, we're ending now. We've been doing this for 2 hours. We did get a patron and we did get a donation. Thank you for that. We got some great comments from Frida and Kevin and Lucy and Live Alive and now Marcia
and people first. I think was the other.
Oh, and People First in
London
and Paul in London as well.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Thank People
you.
First, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for,
and thank you
for that.
Thank you to Judith for her donation. And thank you to Lynn for becoming a patron.
Yes. Thank you so much for
and
that.
You can still go and do those things that they did. You can donate to paypal.com/me or paypal.me/Book of Hours. And you can go to patreon.com/Book of Hours. You can also go to rockfin.com/book of hours. Okay, I'm not going to put them up there now because we're trying to end now.
We're gonna end this now, but thanks again, guys. It was really fun. It's always really fun doing these things and getting the feedback. And sorry about the tagging in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's the restream system is different. I didn't realize what was happening, but anyway.
Okay. We'll see you in a couple weeks with the next issue of Bookmark.
Yeah, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Book of Hours are artists here to empower and embolden your response to the constant negative sound bites that attack your news and social media feeds. In order to continue making the video essays and art you've come to enjoy, we need your support. Make a one-time donation or become a patron. Thank you.